Hi guys, how you doing? This is D. Durrell with D. Durrell Life Solutions. Happy to be here once again. Definitely looking forward to discussing with you issues as it relates to the ways in which black men can cope with having bad mothers. I've noticed that since I've been tackling this particular topic of the relationship between black men and black women, it seems that it has gotten a lot of traction on this channel, a lot of responses, and I'm going to continue to talk about this particular dynamic that in many ways surfaces in the black community, and it has become one of the leading issues when you look at it from a long-term perspective, contributes to the dysfunction in the black community. Now, like I said, I've done multiple videos on this issue as it involves black women, their sons, whether they are grown or if they're a child, teenager, or what have you. This relationship is continuous between the two. And in many situations, the relationship between a black man and his mother can contribute to how he treats another woman. And it also can influence her ability to either move on and find someone herself. In many situations, black women tend to, I would say, try to replace their sons, or I would say replace their boyfriends, husbands, and so forth if that relationship was dysfunctional. They tend to replace their husbands, and so forth. If it didn't work, they would attempt to replace it with their son. And this particular behavior and mindset can contribute to a lot of dysfunction that occurs in the black community. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight ways in which black men can therapeutically cope with the dysfunctional relationship of having a bad mother. All mothers are not good mothers, and all mothers are not bad mothers. However, I noticed particularly in certain spaces in YouTube, there is a large percentage of black men who have experienced a lot of toxicity as it relates to their interaction with their mother and how they were raised. Many of them have a great disdain for their mother. Many of them have a very difficult time communicating, interacting just on surface level with their mother. So I think at this point, it would give me an opportunity to shed some light, illustrate from a therapeutic standpoint how those relationships can heal, how those relationships can improve. So what I'm going to do, guys, is kind of talk about a variety of ways in which you as a man can approach the negative relationship that you have with your mother. In many ways, it can improve the functioning. In many ways, it can relieve psychological stress on both ends. And it also can contribute to other positives that can occur in your life. So the first thing I want to focus on is to black men. You have to accept that your mother is a bad mother. Okay? I know this may be difficult. I know this may be very trying for you. But if you have noticed that you have went through certain things all of your life and your childhood was directly influenced in a negative manner by the poor decisions, the maladaptive behaviors that your mother was involved in and displayed, and it, triggered a set of events that cause you to possibly be in foster care, abuse, visually seeing and witnessing things that you should not have been seeing, putting yourself in dangerous positions, moving around, constant moving, unstable lifestyle, unstable housing, lack of security. Then I think that it would be incumbent upon you to understand that your mother, although she may have tried the best that she could, she was just a bad mother. You have to accept that. Accept that the fact that she made mistakes. Accept that the fact that she did not learn from those mistakes. Accept the fact that she did not put you in the best position to win. And usually that starts with the man that she chose to reproduce with, to produce you. Many black women do their future children a disservice by picking negative men to procreate with, picking men who are not worthy to be fathers, picking and reproducing with men that are not married-minded, reproducing and choosing men who are a detriment to the family. If you look at the black community, particularly in urban areas, you hear the stories of black women complaining about the men that they were with, but although they picked those men, they reproduced children with them, and in many multiple occasions, multiple children, 2, 3, 4 children for the same man that they have a disdain for. It shows signs she was a bad mother. You have to accept that. Accept the fact she was not a good mother. I know that may be difficult. For some, it may not be. But that's the case. Next. In the work of trying to cope with the fact that you had a bad mother, we want to work on processing whether or not you felt that she really loved you, but she did not know, or she did not understand how to verbalize that to you. She lacked the ability or the capacity to display love, to verbalize love, to be the example of love and nurturing. Also in that, did she learn to improve her parenting throughout the process of being a mother? Some parents don't improve any of their parenting skills, particularly first-time mothers. Of course, you beginning to be a mother, you're learning. It's a learning process. And then you gradually get better and better through time. Better and better through time. But does she have the capacity to do so? So I want you to reflect on whether or not she really loved you. Do you think she loved you? Did she show that she loved you? And how did she show it? Did she hug you, tell you verbally that she loved you? Did she do kind gestures for you to show that love and compassion, nurturing? Did you feel that way? You have to reflect on this to determine how that relationship was in the past and whether or not she's capable of doing that presently and in the future. Thirdly, I think it's important in doing this type of work to identify traumatic events, whether it's physical, verbal, sexual, or psychological, that affected you. Many guys who have a conflictual mindset towards their mother many of them experience one of those types of abuse, whether it was physical, verbal, sexual, or psychological. Throughout my many years of counseling children, adults who have issues with their family, particularly their mothers, young black males, they usually experience a great deal of severe physical abuse. Many of them talked a lot about the verbal abuse, the verbal onslaught that a black mother would give them, particularly in reminding them of how bad their father was and holding that against them. Instances of sexual abuse, and then also it can all be psychological in nature. Number 4, if you want to cope and improve the relationship with your mother, you have to improve your overall communication skills. And in the communication skills, it involves the fact of first listening. Because people want to focus a lot on the verbal, the talking, the expressions. But it is important to listen to what your mother is saying. And it's also important for you to reinforce that she listens to what you are saying. So it's all reciprocal. Improve the communication. Communication is vital in any form of relationships, particularly close-knit relationships that involves a mother and their child, particularly her son. Next, focus on anger management in the process. In many instances of dealing with the memories, the trauma, reflecting on the past, it can produce anger. It can produce contentment. It can produce someone being very upset, violent thoughts, aggressive-like behavior, both verbal, that can produce physical outcomes. I think that some level of anger management must be practiced. And calming yourself down, taking deep breaths, using thought-stopping exercises. Anything to diffuse the anger of her miscalculations of you as a son and what she should have done as a mother. Again, this is not a difficult thing to do, but I think that it is something that if you want to heal and improve, it is important to take heed to this and practice. The next situation that the next strategy, engage in therapeutic confrontation of the issues that you've experienced with your mother, but doing it in a positive manner. So what I'm saying is that in therapy, if you have this issue, particularly if you were seeking the services for me, I would allow you to probe and to review and reflect on the negativity that she showed you, and you identify those things and you identify how it triggered your feelings and behavior. But also, in order for you to hear from that, you have to directly talk to her. Ask questions. But you want to do this in a positive manner, meaning you don't want to be overly aggressive. You don't want to use finger pointing, blaming statements, things that can offend your mother and cause her not to want to engage. It can influence her not to want to interact with you. No one wants to be blamed 100% for all the issues, nor am I reinforced that you hold her responsible for every issue. However, what I will say is that this is not a situation in which you think just because you're the mother or you're the adult or whatever, that you cannot be held accountable for your behaviors. Accountability is important for any child, better yet his mother. So when you're engaging in confronting them about the issues that you were concerned about as a child, the issues that have kept you up at night, the issues that caused you to not want to eat and sleep, the issues that made it very difficult for you to talk about your relationship with your mom to other children. Children ask other questions about you and your parents. Kids do these type of things. Confront your mother about her mistakes. Don't allow this to be a situation in which you're trying to beat her down, but to uplift her so that she can learn from those mistakes and don't continue to improve. Don't continue to basically bestow this upon other people that are seeking services. Understand your limitations. Understand the things that you lack. Understand that in the therapeutic environment, when you're being confronted, mother, accept his feelings. Not to say that he's telling the truth 100%, because it is coming from his perspective. However, through confronting and wanting answers, logical answers, reasonable answers, it gives the mother the opportunity to release herself from any inadequacies that she had about raising children. It gives her the opportunity to say what's on her mind. It gives her the opportunity to show respect towards you for the fact of you wanting to know these important things. But it has to be done in a certain manner. And lastly, seek healthy ways to repair the relationship. Let's allow this to be a problem-solving situation. Let's allow this to be a way in which we can bond, the way we can problem solve, collaborate. Allow this to be a positive situation that can improve the likelihood of you advancing in life and not allowing these things to get in your way. Not allowing your relationship with your mother to potentially hinder your ability to be more successful and to thrive. Embrace what you have to do. Reach out to the people who need the help, particularly the victims. Respect the perpetrators or the bad person in the relationship. We want to repair every negative thing that happened that influenced this relationship. Understand that is your mother. You still should show her a certain level of respect, but it doesn't immune her from being confronted about the fact that these things didn't work. It's the truth. So, like I said, these are the ways in which you can cope. And I think that it would be important for you all to take heed to what I'm saying, because this is important. Some of these strategies that I mentioned, you have to use every day, some not every day. Sometimes you have to use these strategies in conjunction with other things that I've talked about. But I do think that if you, as a man who sees that you're in a precarious situation with your mother, some of the things that I talked about today are therapeutically on par and effective. And you have the ability to try it and see how it works for you. So yes, this is THER, THER Life Solutions. Please subscribe and share. Leave comments in the comments section. Hope you enjoyed the show. Peace.